Hi, this is Michael Graves, and you're listening to New York Sports Podcast.
Baseball aficionado, a football enthusiast, an all-around sports nut, and I have a hatred for every sports team in Boston. My name is Steve, and you are listening to the New York Sports Podcast, New York's premier sports podcast. Checking us out. It is Saturday, May 6th, 2017, and this is episode 113. The telephone number to call, leave a message, rant, tell me to go to hell, go back in a hole from where I came out of, is 347-321-6977. Just jumping right into this. Not going to talk about where I've been for the last 22 months. No updated intros, no updated outros, the website's gone. This is going to end up on YouTube today, just so I can get this out there. But I just want to talk about some Yankees baseball for a little bit. I've missed the podcast. I just don't have the time to put into it the way I used to. Especially now since I've taken up photography. For me to do photography, do this podcast full time, basically once a week, which I was doing right near the end. Work full-time. I do some part-time work on the weekends. And being a married man, there's no time left for my wife. So I needed to choose photography or the podcast. And not that anyone was telling me to. So don't even think about that there. Just burning the candle at both ends. And it was just too much. There's some work that needs to be put into to have a decent sounding podcast. Not that I ever did, but I didn't have the time to put into it. Like today is going to be a complete shit show. Straight off the top of my head, I got a couple web pages open. I have no notes. I have 113 pages of notes in OneNote from every single podcast I did. Most of the time, I was ready, prepared, good to go. I don't have that time to put into it anymore. I even sold all my fancy equipment, so the quality isn't even going to be there anymore either. I'm thinking maybe twice a month I'll try and do this. And see, again, I'm running all over the place now because there's no notes. It's straight off the top of the head. But nobody cares. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to jump in here. In another 2 minutes, we'll start talking about baseball. My goal, the plan, not even a goal, it's a plan. The plan is to try and do something twice a month with this podcast. I still love sports. I take my camera to sporting events, take pictures there. Love talking about sports. There's just not enough people to talk about sports sometimes. And over the last 22 months since the last episode came out, I've definitely missed this. There's been times where I've definitely missed this. The Jets are a joke. The Yankees are the Yankees. Yankees are doing things this year that they shouldn't be doing, and I want to talk about that as well. Chicago Cubs won the World Series last year. Holy shit, still mind blown about that. So, yeah, there's definitely times where I want to talk. Every week, definitely can't do it. Twice a month, I think I can do that. Wife goes to work, I've got the house to myself, set up, push something out real quick, And again, maybe I'll have some time, update the intros, update the outros. Hopefully get the site back up and running. Because I deleted everything early this year. I thought I was completely and officially done with this for good. So, we'll see what happens. I know there's going to be 2 or 3 people happy to see this. My Uncle Steven, what's up? He's been pushing for this for a while. Biff might be surprised to hear this. Mark's not even Mark's not even doing the podcasting anymore. See, it's tough. It's not an easy thing to do consistently. A couple guys out there will enjoy to hear me back, and we'll see how it goes. So this week I want to talk about just my Yankees and only my Yankees. Maybe we'll talk about something else. We'll see. We'll see how the flow goes on. I'm by myself, and it's the first one in 2 years. This might sound just as bad as the very first episode. Thank God you can't find that anymore. I have a copy, yes, but thank God you guys can't find it. So let's talk about this New York Yankees team. A New York Yankees team full, mostly young guys with a couple of veterans, that was predicted in spring training to go finish 4th in this division. Now I know, before I go any further, and everyone else starts yelling at their phone or their computer, whatever the hell they listen to this right now, Steve, you fat bastard, it's May 6th. What the hell are you doing? I understand that. We're 27 games into a 162-game season. But there's some things that need to be brought up here. Yes, a lot can happen. Injuries can happen. You never know what can happen. How many teams have started in the shitter, in the basement, and worked their way back up to first place by the end of the season? We know. But this is a team that's predicted to finish 4th, which still very well could. I mean, as of right now, with the Yankees in first place in the American League East, tied for the best record in the American League. Yankees are just beating up on people. Yankees are coming back from behind in a lot of games too, which is also important to note. There's been a lot of comebacks. Yesterday afternoon, they were down 2-0, top of the 9th inning, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Gardy hits a 3-run shot. We come back and win. I was at the game on Wednesday night. Yankees started off down 4-0. We came back to win. I was at the amazing comeback a week and a half before that. Yankees were down 9-1 and 11-4. They came back and won. This team is fucking exciting to watch. They don't give up. They don't stop. That's what makes this team so great. Don't get me wrong. I'm sitting there at 9-1 and then 11-4 at the stadium with a couple of friends. Once it was 9-1, it's like, all right, it's time to take a little walk. I need to get some fresh air, stretch the legs. Let's walk around the stadium a little bit. Love the place. It's like, let's just walk away from this for a few minutes. Let's not leave like so many people did and usually do once their team is down by that many. We stayed. Walked around, had a beer, got something to eat. And right now I'm trying to do something this year I've never done before. I'm trying to see if I can make it to one Yankee game every week that they're home. Cheap seats, nosebleeds. I look for the specials that I get in email, $5, $6, $8, $10 for a ticket. I don't pay for parking. I park 10 blocks away, so I don't have to pay for parking. So when people here are trying to go to one game a week for an entire season, they think, Jesus Christ, how much money are you making? And you put out a shitty quality podcast? No, it's not that. I get the $5, $10 seats in the nosebleeds, don't pay for parking, and sometimes bring in my own food and water. You can do that. People don't realize you can. You can bring your own food and water into the stadium. As long as it's wrapped in plastic and you're good to go. So, I'm trying to do one game a week. See, now I've lost track of what I was saying. But yes, so I was up in the 400s. 406, I believe, that night. Actually, no, it was 306 that night. It was the Friday night game was 306 when the Yankees came back from 9-1 and 11-4. So we walk around. Now we're back down on the first level. And it's the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 11-4 now. We managed to sneak in down to the first level. We're sitting in the first row behind the legends. Because people are leaving. Bottom of the 6th inning, 11-4, team full of young guys and a few veterans. Who's going to make this comeback? Let's be honest. Who's going to make this comeback? So we sneak on down there. Not even sneak. The ushers just happened to turn their head for a minute. We were able to get down. We get down there. And next thing you know, I'm watching the greatest comeback I've ever seen at a baseball game. It's probably hands down the greatest baseball game that I've ever been to. And it's because we were down by 8 runs, then down by 7. We tied it up, come back and win it in the 10th inning, in the bottom of the 10th. Phenomenal. I wouldn't say complete pandemonium in the stadium, but the stadium was electric, that's for sure. There's one time where it was more electric when I've been there. And that was the game, American League Championship Series, Game 1, Yankees-Tigers. And that's the game that Derek Jeter broke his ankle in the 12th or 13th inning. And that's why I don't put this one up as the top game. First of all, because we lost. Second of all, because Jeter broke his ankle. But going into the bottom of that 9th inning, the Yankees were down 4-0. Raul Ibanez gets 2 in. Ichiro Suzuki gets 2 in for us. Ties it up. When we get those second set of 2 runs to tie it up 4-4, I've never heard that stadium so loud when I've been there before in my life. I'm running up and down the stairs, high-fiving people, smacking each other in the heads because we're missing our hands. That was complete pandemonium and electricity in that stadium like I've never seen before in my life. Now this game here, a week and a half ago, when we're down 11-4, we come back to win. It was phenomenal. It was great. It was amazing. All those other great adjectives that you want to throw in there. But it was not as electric or as exciting because, one, it's a playoff game. So there's a big difference between the two. And 2, it's a game in April. What do you want to say about a game in April? I mean, we came back, and that's what made it great. But these kids don't quit. This entire team does not quit. Doesn't matter what kind of hole CC Sabathia gets us in. Yes, I'm going to stick you out, CC, because 2 games I've been to of yours, you've put us in holes. We've had to come back and win. When we won that other game, 14-11, when we came back, again, I parked my car 10 blocks away. I'm walking down the Grand Concourse in the Bronx, 11 o'clock at night. I'm strutting down the street like I won that game. I was so happy. But let's take a look at some of these guys here. My new favorite Yankee right now, and has been. I've been following him for almost 2 years now. Once I stopped the podcast, I started following minor league baseball a little bit more because of the crowd I'm with. So I've been watching this kid. You might have heard of him, Aaron Judge. 6'7", 6'8", 275 pounds. This kid is a monster. But he's a monster that can hit, he can run, he can almost do it all. He leads the league in home runs right now. The league, a 25-year-old kid, basically a rookie. It's his first full season. He came in August 12th or 13th last year after A-Rod retired, which I was at that game. We could talk about that another day. So this is basically his first full rookie season. 13 home runs, hitting .337. Kind of a power hitter with that many home runs. 27 RBIs. He's in the top 5 for batting average and RBIs and number 1 in home runs in the American League. It's not often you see this type of player that's in the top 5 for batting average, home runs, and RBIs. Again, you got a Miguel Cabrera, Triple Crown winner. Again, I'm not trying to compare Aaron Judge to Miguel Cabrera, so don't even go there. I'm not even saying he's going to be a Triple Crown winner. I'm just saying that you don't have a guy that leads home runs that also has a very high batting average. It doesn't happen that often. You know, Mike Trout's hitting .355. You don't see him in the top 5 of home runs. You don't see him in the top 5 for RBIs either. Aaron Judge is hitting with power and consistency. That's huge right there. Again, I've watched him steal bases. The catches we see him make out there in right field. He could do it all. As big as this kid is, he can move. Again, that's not going to work at 35. He's definitely going to have to shed some of that weight because he's not going to be able to move like that at 35. Who knows? Maybe he can. I'm 40 and I can't run a block. But with kids like Aaron Judge, Greg Bird, who's doing horrendous right now, who's hitting only 100. But Girardi says they're going to keep him in, and they should. You know, he's going through a slump. It sucks. It's not affecting us really because we're winning. If he was hitting 250, 280, maybe we wouldn't be coming from behind in all of these games. But they're going to keep him in there. Starlin Castro, I mean, what can you say about this kid? 367, key home runs. Sanchez is back. I think he came back yesterday for the first time. Didi's finally back in the lineup after missing almost the entire first month. You know, we're doing well pitching-wise. You know, 2 weeks ago we did have the best ERA in all of baseball, but, you know, then CC pitches 2 more games and gives up a shitload of runs. That completely changed the dynamic of our ERA team-wise. But it's good, though. Chapman, what can you say about Chapman? I'm glad the Yankees went out, brought him back. I'm fine with his contract. Some people aren't. I think he's still young enough, and the 5-year deal that he was given will work out for us. What else is there to say? See, this is why you need to have notes. And I should have put notes together, so I could have done this tomorrow. But then I would have just said, oh, I don't feel like doing this tomorrow. I've been putting this off for weeks. For weeks I've been putting this off. I've wanted to do something. So, Yankees are tied for first in the American League East. Have the 3rd best batting average in the American League East. The 3rd most runs. 4th for ERA. And most home runs allowed were 12th. So that's good. We've only allowed 31 home runs. Considering we've hit a lot more than that. It's weird to see that I don't want to say that we're relying on the long ball to win games, but there's a lot of long balls being hit, without a doubt. When I was at the game on Wednesday night, and we were down 4-0 really quick to the Orioles, and we came back to win. Yes, Aaron Judge hit another home run. I've been to 5 Yankee games already this year. Aaron Judge has hit a home run in at least one home run in every single one of those games that I've been there. But he also hit in Wednesday night when I was there. He hit a single to help with the comeback. He also did the same in that 11-4. The game we were losing 11-4 to come back and win. Yeah, he hit a 2-run shot early in the game, but he also got on base with a single and an RBI too. So there's baseball being played. I don't want to say there's small ball being played. I don't see a lot of bunts being laid down, but the home runs are just coming. Whether we're relying on them or not, they're just happening. Halladay, Judge, Castro, Ellsbury with his 100th home run the other night, which was his first grand slam. I can't stop talking about these guys. I haven't come into a baseball season this excited in a long time. Let's be perfectly honest here. The Yankees haven't been that great, and some diehard Yankee fans knew back in 2010, 2011, that 2016, 2015, 2016, 2017 were going to be some shitty years. Why? Because A-Rod is still technically under contract, so he was going to be there. Teixeira, we figured, well, Teixeira's season, I think he had one more year left on his deal before he retired. We still have CC Sabathia. We lost Mariano Rivera. We were losing Derek Jeter, so we were losing some guys in Jeter and Mo, but still had these very old, aging veterans with these high contracts in CC, A-Rod, Teixeira. But A-Rod's gone. I'm happy for him. He's happy. He seems to be happy. He's doing his thing. Tex needed to leave. He got to go out on his own way. That's good. Sabathia, I'm pretty sure this is his last year. I think the contract has a team option, so I'm pretty sure the Yankees will not pick him up next year unless we absolutely needed to. But again, I don't see why we need to. There's quite a bit of free agents coming into the market next year. Good pitching free agents, along with some other good position players. We'll talk about that later on in the seasons. I don't have all of that in front of me right now. So we knew the old guys and a rebuild was coming. We knew this 6 years ago. It's just, those contracts were just going to destroy us. However, watching spring training, watching some of these kids like Bird and Judge last year, Castro, Didi's filling in shortstop well. There was an article on him a few weeks ago, just before the season started, and somebody asked him, are the comparisons between you and Jeter, are they starting to slow down a little bit? And Didi's like, no, they're never going to stop, because you guys constantly ask me about it. Constantly talk and compare me to Jeter. You can't. I'm not. I'm here to play. So, I'd like to get rid of Headley. Headley is the old one right now in our infield. Because when you look at the infield, it's a bunch of young guys with Judge, Bird, Sanchez, Castro, Headley. Headley's the only old one. He's playing okay. I don't even have his stats in front of me, so I can't even really comment on anything right now about that. I'll see if I can pull that up while I'm sitting here talking and not go crazy. But Chase Headley, of course, can't bring his batting average up. I can bring his salary up to over $13 million. He's hitting .302, so I guess I need to open mouth and insert foot. He's hitting .302. All right, I'll shut up. Keep Headley on then. And again, at 33 years old, he's not that old, so I wasn't happy with the 4-year deal the Yankees gave him. I just, when we first picked him up, 259, 253, that's basically what he's been for. He's a career 264 hitter. The fact he's hitting .302 right now, okay, I'm happy with that. I don't know if that's the youth movement going on right now, getting some of these guys getting to play better, getting back in the groove. But Headley's a career 264 hitter. That average is going to drop. I know I'm asking for a lot, but when there's so much good happening around you, it's affecting the veterans too, and I think that's what's happening with Headley and some of these other Yankees. So, I've made it about 22 minutes in. I didn't think I was going to make it this far. So, I'm pretty happy about that right now. Quick rundown on this Saturday, May 6th. Yankees are in first place, a half a game ahead of the Baltimore Orioles, who we've been smashing. My dentist is an Orioles fan. I wish I had to see him soon, just so I could rub this in his face. Boston, 4 games out of first, 15-14. Tampa Bay Devil Rays, I will always call them the Devil Rays, 15-16, 5 games out. And the Toronto Blue Jays, 9 games out of first place, 10-19. The surprise for me, the Houston Astros in the West, 20-10, tied for first place in the American League with the New York Yankees. Again, it's the first weekend in May. There's 130 more games of baseball to be played, but it's still fun to take a look at this. And, just look at it as a recount week after week or every other week, because this baseball season goes by so fast. 1 minute, it's just starting. You think you're going to get to a couple of games. Next thing you know, it's August. It's pennant race time in September. Boom, playoffs and World Series. So, I turned 40 at the beginning of this month, and I said I'm going to make 40 a great year. I'm going to see if I can get to 1 game a week, every week that they're home, and really enjoy this season. Because, 1, I'm 40, and I'll be dead soon. 2, the Yankees are a great team to watch this year. This Yankees team is almost like the Cubs of the last 2 years that came to win that World Series last year. The Kansas City Royals team that won the World Series a few years before that. It's that much fun. They're that exciting. Mets fans, there's not a lot to talk about with you guys right now. You're in second place, 6.5 games out of the National League East. at 13-15. The Nationals have the best record in all of baseball right now at 20-9. The Nationals and the Yankees are the only ones that have single-digit losses so far this season, which I think is not a bad thing. Everyone else is double-digit losses, 10, 11, 12. Giants, 19 losses. Padres, 19 losses. Chicago Cubs, first place in their division, a game ahead of Cincinnati. Pittsburgh, falling back. Pittsburgh had a couple good years. They made it to the playoffs. It seems like they're falling behind now. What are you going to do? It happens. We can look at wild card standings, but who wants to look at that? All right, I think I'm going to cut this short. Might top out at a half an hour once I throw my intro and outro here on at the end. So, what I've been doing for the last, it's been 3 years now, almost 3, 2.5 years. But it's been 22 months since the last podcast. 22 months, can you believe that? 5 years ago is when I started this. 5 years ago. And I don't feel like starting back at 1. You know, most people would think you take a hiatus of almost 2 years off. You start over back at episode 1. I probably should, because this one probably sounds pretty shitty. But I'm going to continue right where I left off. 113. I've done 112 episodes of the New York Sports Podcast. I'm going to continue from where I left off. I don't see why not. So, photography. You guys have probably seen it on the Facebook page. This is what I've taken up. I purchased a DSLR. Oh my god. Again, 2.5 years ago now. And, so I like to take photos. And I want a nice camera. Turns out, I'm pretty good with a camera. So, a year in, I upgraded to a much nicer camera. Not pro, but semi-pro. Just below. And I've been enjoying that. I'm going out, and I'm not focusing on one thing. I'm taking landscape photos, astrophotography photos, sports photos. I'm trying to do some portraits and stuff like that now. I just enjoy it so much. Not only that, it gets me outside, gets me a little bit of exercise. I'm finding cool little spots in my town I've never known about before because I want to go exploring and take pictures with my camera. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to plug and whore out my Facebook page for the photography as well, because I'd like you guys to check that out. I take my camera to Yankee Stadium almost every single game. So I like to get some nice pictures of their at-bats, Aaron Judge's home run swing on opening day. That's on the Facebook page. So for the photography page, it's facebook.com/Shaum Photography, SCHAUM Photography. This page is still around. Facebook.com/New York Sports Podcast. Everything is all spelled out. So, the intro I have to update. The outro I have to update. It has an outdated telephone number on here. So if you want to call and leave a message that I can play on the next podcast or respond back to on the next podcast, telephone number is 347-321-NYSP. 347-321-6977. Yes, I've kept that telephone number, even though I haven't done the podcast in the last 2 years. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what's going to come up in the coming episodes, if anything. Maybe these will get a little bit longer. Maybe I'll update my, maybe I'll update things a little bit. The website. And, see if I can do this twice a month. Get some callers the way I used to. Some people enjoyed calling in. Jeff out there in Texas, he enjoyed the podcast. He enjoyed calling. Again, my Uncle Steven, he loves this. He's been hounding me for months. Steve, start it back up. Start it back up. Start it back up. I miss it. So, and since I don't have anything set up, the website or iTunes or anything like that anymore, I need some time to set that up. This episode is going to end up on YouTube. I'm sorry about that. Probably not a bad thing, but I do have a YouTube channel for this podcast. And with that, I'm going to check out. Hope you guys enjoyed this shitty first episode back in 2 years. And I'll talk to you on the Facebook page. Thank you for checking out the New York Sports Podcast. Make sure you go check out the website, nysportspodcast.com. From there, you'll find all the links to where you can find us online, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else. You can call the show, leave us a message, 380-NYSP. We'll air it on the next show, answer your questions, answer the feedback. You can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and everywhere else podcasts are listed. Again, my name is Steve. Thank you for checking out the New York Sports Podcast. And as always, tell your friends, spread the word.